Parker. For those of you who don't know me, I'm CEO of the Chamber, and we're so glad to have a room full of smiling faces this cool morning. We've gotten our taste of spring and summer and winter all so far today, so that's wonderful. We are glad to be hosted by PES. We have several announcements we're going to make, but we're going to go ahead and let Scott update us on, I'm sure, a broadband project, we hope, and lots of other things going on up here. And so I'm going to turn it over to Scott.
Good morning and welcome everybody. Glad we have a great turnout this morning. Before we get started, I just wanted to introduce, if you are an employee PES, would you just raise your hand up? Some of you already standing. So if you need to find one of us, talk to us about an issue with PES, just grab one of those people that just have their arm up. I appreciate it. If you haven't been aware, we have 32 days left and we're exiting cable. So you're probably, if you're one of our remaining 728 customers, we are declining quickly as we're converting people over to streaming, hopefully. You only have 32 days to make your choice of where you're heading if you have our cable. We have sent out letters, we've made personal phone calls. There are about 180 people we have not been able to contact by phone and actually talk with them, but we've sent them letters. We put it on their bill. It's in the newspaper, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on the billboard. If you haven't seen it, you probably haven't opened your eyes, but we are going to be exiting cable soon. If you want to learn more reasons why, be sure to ask me or ask somebody that's had our cable in the last year and they'll probably tell you why we're exiting. It has not been a positive product for a while. But on a more friendly note, we are making some strides in our data area. We just surpassed a new record of 3,200 data customers. That's a new record just hit this past Monday. So we continue to add our internet customers. We just finished a project around the Flat Rock area, if you're familiar with that, just past Flat Rock furniture store going up to the base of Anthony Hill, and a few little side roads, as well as the Walmart area, which is the new subdivision above at the railroad tracks, Stone Creek. Did I get that right this time? All right, Stone Creek. I somehow messed that subdivision up. I have to apologize quite frequently over that. But we had some. You think, why would you have problems at Walmart in Stone Creek? When the originally was built back in 2006, they didn't anticipate quite as much growth that occurred. And it's not just a simple, oh, just add one more wire. It's much more complicated than that, so we have to build it out from the substation all the way to the area and then be able to get from cabinet to enclosure and enclosure to home. So it's a fairly large project. So we just completed that, so we added another 70 customers in that Flat Rock area that I think are tickled pink that they can now get high-speed internet. Here in the next couple of weeks, if you live out in the Poland Drive, Timber Ridge area, you'll be having access to PES Internet as well. We're finishing up that project. We're doing that internally in-house here. And then by June, we will be out at what's called Rambling Ridge, or sometimes called the View area. And then we will be going to Ammett Ridge, and we'll be picking up that area. All those are planned to be completed before June, and then we'll be heading to Oak Grove. Oak Grove, and part of these projects I'm mentioning are outside our grant area and what we're doing with our own internal money and our own internal team. Once we finish it up, Oak Grove will start sometime after June, and we'll wrap that up before our grant money starts, our grant material begins rolling in. So if you remember, we won a $33 million grant. We found out about, 6 months ago. We got the contract just a week ago. The state works fast. It only took them 6 months to get the contract. But we've already ordered the material. We ordered the material as soon as they sent us a letter and said, you're a winner, go ahead and start ordering. But it's going to take till this winter to get the order that we placed last winter for the material to get here so that we can start the construction. So that's been on order for a while. And even before the engineering, which probably gives Richard heartburn over there. How can you make an order? You don't even have the engineering done, right? Well, we estimated, we did a small area, we estimated, and we extrapolated about 75% of that area, went ahead and ordered it because we knew everyone else would be ordering as well. So we wanted to get at least a good jump on the project. Once we get a little more into it, we'll make the place order for the remaining roughly 25%. If you're wondering, are you or are you not in that grant area for PES, I'm going to flash up a map, but you may not see it from the back of the room, so I encourage you to go to our PES website. You can type in you go to the data section of our website, and there's a spot to put your address and check availability. And when you plug in your address, it will tell you if you're in our grant, yes or no, and which phase you're in with an estimated start of construction date, so you'll have a better idea of it. Now, the hard deadline is December 31st, 2026. Everything has to be complete by then or we get no more money. That's federal rules, so we're hustling to try to make sure we're completed well ahead of that. And if right behind me is what you'll see is phase 1. The orange area is where we currently are. The blue area is part of phase 1. So this is Pulaski, and then we have phase 2. I'm sorry, that's 64 if you're trying to get a reference for it. And then phase 2, this is the southern part of the county. It is, you think, odd, yeah. Well, some areas were contested, some areas were not. The state pretty well aligned us to where we had to be. So this green area, this is Ardmore. So this green area, we're coming along the state line, and you see a big gap here. That is Ardmore, Western Kentucky, Tennessee telecommunications site. And then we're going to be here. You can see we're already in part of that area, and there. So it's a hodgepodge. It is a hit and a miss. The nice thing is that we'll be like building from here to here to get to here with grant money, and then later on it will be less expensive for us to fill in those spots with our own money. When I say own money, remember the grant is only 75%. We still have to come up with 25% of that money, which the county is helping out with part of that, and PES is filling in the blanks. And then phase 3 is a much more continuous area, and actually takes we actually service about 6 homes in Lawrence County, so it picks up a little bit into Lawrence County, but mostly this is, again, 64 here, so 64 all the way up to here, and it looks a little odd, but Duck River comes down to there. So they have a grant with you, and they partner with a company called United. They'll be coming right down and touching, so if you're anywhere in the northwest side of the county, you should be covered with either us or United. So if you get your electricity through Duck River, you will be receiving internet from a company called United. If you receive PES electricity, you'll be getting opportunity to get PES Internet. And then the 4th phase, again, a little bit of a hodgepodge, but that's heading north and a little bit east. So again, hard to see, and I know from the background it's difficult to see, but if your friends, family, neighbors are wondering, am I going to be in that grant area, just go to our website, put in your address, and it will spit it out. This map is also on there as well. You can zoom in, zoom out, it's very nice. So that is our 4 phases of our internet. Thank you. We also have a lot of electric. I mean, we are an electric company. We got a lot going on. Normally we spend about $4 million roughly a year on capital projects. This year we have $12 million in the budget. We have a 5-year plan. We're going to be upgrading a lot of substations. If you probably have noticed some kicking around of dirt around by the high school substation, that will be replaced by, the transformers will be replaced by December this year. That is about an $8 million project that we'll be completing. We've got quite a few others. Those of you who've been by Richland School, you've probably seen a lot of trucks out there. We have contractors replacing 5 miles of wire that was old and having voltage problems. So if you've had a little flickering on the north end of the county, this hopefully will help us solve some of those issues going in the future. So we've got a lot going on. Like I said, feel free to grab one of those people that raised their hands a few moments ago. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. And again, thank you for all for coming.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for y'all's
I've been in my role since 2015, and we have been talking about broadband that long, and finally, been plenty of hurdles, but to see it, you know, on paper. It's amazing. So look forward to that and the growth that we're gonna see around our county with broadband being available. Although I am losing a tenant, so we're gonna have office space, an office upstairs at the chamber that's been occupied for 12 years. 12 years. And he's gonna have internet and he's gonna leave us. So that's how long he's been waiting on internet. And so he is very excited. We think he's leaving too soon, but if anybody needs just one office, we've got you covered. So we have just a few announcements before we start our crowd announcements. Lemonade Day is coming up. You might have seen our e-blast. We are going into 5th grade this year. We're trying to see with the curriculum what grade it suits the best. And the 3rd graders had to have quite a bit of involvement. Entrepreneurship is a big word. There's some other words in there that we wanted to switch over and try 5th grade. And so we might even next year land on 4th grade. We're just trying to balance that out. But every Giles County student, it's open to our homeschool community. And then we have our 4-H club group that did it last year as well, and we hope to have them again. But this is a day where we take over 2 weeks. The kids go through a curriculum of starting a business. They go through a full business plan. Now it is for a lemonade stand, but they're talking about loans, and they're talking about raw materials, and they're talking about you know, Excel spreadsheets. You know, they're talking about pluses and minuses. So all of those things are very important. They talk about location. And then they also talk about being good stewards in the community with their profits. Do they want to spend a little, share a little, save a little? And so anything that they put back in their back into their classroom, that money stays in the classroom. So I kind of cap it at $500. $500 is a little bit, that's excessive for some lemonade and a fancy stand, which, you know, we have some folks that are over the top, and that's perfectly fine. But we want to put a business mentor with each of our classrooms in the county. So we need sponsors. And so what you are as a sponsor / mentor, eventually the kids are going to ask you for a loan. And so then, you know, you're going to ask them what it's for. And so you're going to go in the classroom, they're going to ask you for a loan, and they're going to tell you why. Basically their loan application, you know, that you're going to be their investor.